So to get into some of the specifics of the show, the biggest thing I guess we'd have to say is the McMahon family still wrestling over control of the company. To me, that does not feel very new era. That feels very the same era we've been in for the last 20 years. Everything was, Vince comes out, gets a hot crowd, turns the temperature up on them even further, encourages the CM Punk chants.
Handled it well.
He handled it phenomenally well. Like I said, they were a hot crowd, and he got them even more riled up by the time Stephanie came out. Stephanie makes her case in what was once again almost a babyface promo, telling us all the things she did that we all like bringing in Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, the Divas Revolution, all these things that we enjoy right now.
She even mentioned the Shield. She went farther back. She even went to the Shield. Yeah.
Right. Shane comes out, doesn't have as much of a case to make because he's only been involved for, a few weeks now. Vince ultimately goes with, you can both do it. I want to see you disembowel each other.
Figure it out!
Yeah. So, Aaron, decision they both get to run Raw. How do you feel about it?
I'm okay with the decision because eventually it's going to become a struggle of power, and even I understand where it was positioned in Payback, and then they both showed how they're in charge in the main event. Right. And then what I liked even more was they ended the show with Shane and Stephanie backstage saying that Vince is like, so you think should AJ get a rematch?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. Stephanie's like at Extreme Rules, and then Shane just cut Stephanie off right there. That's what's going to be an Extreme Rules match.
Right.
And Stephanie you could tell she was angry, but at the same time she was like, thank you, Shane. That was a great idea. So that's going to be that's going to be a sign of things to come when it comes to Shane and Stephanie.
Yeah. Eric, did you? Because it was a long promo. It was about 20 minutes long.
I mean, I wasn't mad at it because how often do we get that long promo on a pay-per-view?
Right.
At the same time, this gave us where the following night we didn't have to be shoved with that, that much of time being shoved down our television time. Aaron touched on a good subject. Aaron and I were watching it together, and that promo at the end gave you a reason. I got to watch tomorrow.
Yeah, it was a hook for the next night, which you don't always get.
Yeah, the second it happened, I was like, I'm happy they did that because you haven't seen that on a pay-per-view in quite some time.
And how often will they just leave things hanging out there?
Yeah.
I mean, that was a big story for that like I said, the biggest story really for that pay-per-view, and they ended on that. This is how it's going to be going forward. You two are in charge. You got to figure out how to run this thing together, and you got a taste of it right away before the show even ended.
Yeah, that was the kind of running thing with the whole pay-per-view, because when I saw the pay-per-view, I was like, what the hell? Some decisions like, why did they do this, why did they do that? But they followed through a continuity, which they never do on Raw, and it made you want to watch Raw to get the answers to these problems that happened at Payback.
So do you think then that creative continuity will be a part of the new era?
Let's hope so.
Do you think it will?
They can only do things right once every 4 months.
Yes. Did you like Shane and Stephanie each coming out during the main event?
Yeah, I thought that was good.
And throwing a new stipulation onto the match?
I thought it was good because it shows, again, the power struggle and them both wanting control, them both wanting a say.
Wanting things to be different.
Yeah, that, and at the same time, I mean, my whole thing where I have a little bit of an issue at the end when they say next month is going to be an Extreme Rules match, it basically was an Extreme Rules match. Stephanie basically already made that match an Extreme Rules match. I'm not, again, just going back to the whole decision of it, I'm not mad at it, being that they're taking both control, because it's either that, get rid of one of them, or a brand split. It doesn't make sense to get rid of one of them, because you get rid of Stephanie, she's just coming back at some point. Get rid of Shane, so what, we only got him for a month?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nobody wants the prospect of Shane leaving again.
Exactly. And if they did a brand split, I mean, it's pretty much going to get to a point, the best thing they could have did with Shane, honestly, which he didn't express interest in it. If they did a brand split, you almost should give him SmackDown, because it's going to make people want to watch that show.
It's a good point, actually. It's a good way to get people interested in the second show.
Yeah, and an intriguing factor to get people to watch the show is what happens when Triple H comes back. Like I said, maybe my theory of him controlling the Bullet Club or Garrison and Gallows and Balor or AJ, maybe that will come to fruition.
It could. I think Triple H will play into this story when he does come back.
Yeah.
They opened Raw last night. Stephanie comes out with a little gift bag. the newer, nicer Stephanie McMahon. She presents the picture to Shane that Vince had broken weeks ago. She tells Shane, the crowd loves you. Why don't we hear what your ideas are? And then he's rudely interrupted by Kevin Owens, who starts making his demands. And Shane
sucking up to Stephanie.
Sucking up to Stephanie, which was beautiful. And her, I don't know if I like or not her eating it up. I guess I do like her eating it up because she's kind of mad. She feels like she's been passed over. She feels like she's been getting pushed down. Mm-hmm. So Kevin Owens is stroking her ego, and it's actually working because she kind of needs that. And he
treats Shane like the substitute teacher.
Yes. And Shane ultimately says, I'm not going to grant you your rematch. You're going to have to fight for an Intercontinental rematch. So that's ultimately what we ended up with. Dean Ambrose doesn't believe that there's a newer, nicer Stephanie McMahon. We'll get to that a little bit later as well. How much do you believe in the newer, nicer Stephanie McMahon?
I'll give it a couple months. I give
that
it
long?
I give it some money in the bank. I give it money in the bank.
I give it to Extreme Rules
in June.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that long. It would be cool if it was because it'll be interesting, and it's funny. It's fun to see her in that different role than what we've seen her in for 2.5 years.
Yeah,
maybe even more than that.